Hey everyone, got a special treat today. I've been joined by Gary Walker and possibly also by Tony, who may come along later on. He was meant to be on the call, but he hasn't joined yet. But if he comes along, there'll be three of us, because basically what's the situation is that I've been sharing my personal, very lo-fi note-taking method where I literally use just notes on the Mac and I hand type all the notation out with all the indentation and coloring and stuff like that with my own comments. And a few people jumped up, particularly Gary and Tony, and said, dude, there's much better ways to do this. Why aren't you using Chessable, for example? And I know obviously Chessable isn't the only way around it. I think that Lichess may also have its kind of study feature as well, where you can create your own kind of PGNs and opening book. Now, I've looked at Chessable before. I'm a member on Chessable. I've bought a few Chessable courses, but it's something I really do want to do is to drill my own openings so that I remember them, so that I get that kind of muscle memory going on. Because obviously I don't want to go, but I don't want to go and refer to my own notes during games. I want to find the most efficient way to get the first few moves of all the openings in my repertoire lodged in there. And I know that Chessable is a very good way of doing that. And I kind of started fiddling around and watched a couple of videos on how to create your own Chessable courses, but found it a bit clunky and didn't really get my head around it. But then I'm old. So Gary's jumped up, who has a more advanced version of my own facial hair by the look of things as well. And I need to take mine off though. But yeah, so Gary's offered to show us around Chessable and a better way to go about this. So Gary, why don't you just quickly introduce yourself and tell everyone, what's your chess story and how you got to this point?
Well, I started playing chess really late in life, mid-40s. It was just a way to spend time with my dad, who had played chess most of his life in some way or another. And I got kind of beat up quite a few times. I probably lost 40 or 50 games in a row, and I just didn't understand why. And so I started getting serious, watching videos. And I think my first video was me, sneaking out on a lunch break and watching Ginger GM videos. His style was made me laugh, and I was learning something. And then I realized that remembering the video just wasn't doing it for me. I just did not understand the more advanced way that a GM is going to play chess. So I started looking for solutions with technology, and as I learned more and more about chess, I came across Chessable. And and I bought lots of courses. I mean, I spent some serious money on Chessable courses. The problem that I kept running into as a sub 1,000 player is that nobody plays the moves that the Chessable courses show you. So I was learning how to play against a GM, which might sound exciting, but when I'm getting beat by a 600 because they're playing bad and I'm trying to play good, but they're beating me. And so I started diving into the idea that I just want to learn how to get better at my level and not try to play like a GM. And how does an adult learner start that process? I dove into Chessable. I paid for their pro membership, and Tony's here. All right.
Yeah,
I paid for I paid for a membership, and I started making my own courses based on beginner play.
Awesome. Hey Tony, thanks for joining.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. So Gary's online from Houston area, and he's sharing the screen right now. We've started recording, so let's just
Yeah.
press on. And Gary's going to. We'll let Gary drive maybe for now, and then just
Sure.
chip in with anything else that you can add on this.
Yeah, I kind of heard what he was saying there at the end with, the trying to play well and learning the lines, but then it doesn't play bad moves, so it doesn't teach you how to learn against bad moves. So I'm absolutely on with you there, Gary.
Yeah, totally. So Tony, but before we carry on, do you just want to give everyone a couple of minutes introduction about your chess story and how you got to this point?
Sure. I've been playing for a couple of years now, pretty consistently. The reason I really got into it was a little bit the Queen's Gambit, a little bit having time to do stuff at home. But I've really fallen in love with it, just from a fun hobby standpoint. I don't think I'm amazing or think I'll ever be amazing, but I want to improve, and that's what I enjoy. And I do enjoy studying openings. I dislike the advice that you shouldn't study openings before a certain level. I don't think that's quite right. I think there's some truth to it, but I don't think it's perfect.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, Tony. That I mean, for me, just knowing I could, I'm following some process to get me into a middle game situation has helped me, because the tactics that I was learning doing tactics training, I'm never going to see those.
Right.
I mean, I'm just never going to see it. And while I agree it's useful to be able to see the tactic, I want to be able to have some consistency. And I think Chessable has helped me drill those open, a couple, 3 different openings so that I don't have to worry about making a mistake and losing in 5 minutes, the first 5 minutes of a game, to never even see a tactic.
Exactly. Yes. And what I have to add to this Chessable situation, what was such a revelation for me, and maybe we'll get to that hopefully, is the ability to make your own courses and the move trainer. Honestly, the move trainer was a revelation, because I have every Gotham course that exists, and all these PGNs with nothing useful to do with them. I mean, it's just a blurb of letters and numbers, so able to use the move trainer and to make my own course with his course, that was just a revelation. And then to stick to one, like I've just been sticking to E4, the E4 course, and then what people play against me. I don't play E4, C6, the Sicilian. Nobody plays the Sicilian at my level, so I don't study those chapters.
Well said.
That's what I have to add.
Cool. Well, let's dive in. And Gary, why don't you give people a tour of Chessable and how you use it, and then Tony can chip in. And I'm just here to learn, really. And I'm also very excited about the move trainer, because I want to be able to go in and say, right, now I'm going to do 20 minutes drilling this opening.
So as I mentioned, I've bought lots of courses in here. I'll archive them so that they don't show up on my screen, because one of the things in my opinion, you don't want to do is try to do too many courses, because you'll get a review, and if there's 400 moves that you've got to learn, and again, I'm speaking as a 50-year-old adult learner, relatively new at chess. I just felt like it was too much, and so and as I mentioned, at some point, I had the realization that I'm learning a Jababa London system based on the way a grandmaster would come at the Jababa London as black, and nobody ever plays that against a 600 like myself, right? So so I'm here as not claiming to be good at chess, just as someone who's trying to leverage technology to get better at chess. So if don't take advice from me about chess, because a 600 is not going to teach most players. But as, again, an adult learner, I feel like this is a fantastic tool. And so if you can see my screen, you can see I've got my Jabava London, this version of the perk that I'm learning. And I did buy this in-game course because it's useful. I just started it, so there's not a whole lot of, I guess, variations that I'm learning on that yet. But what I did, can you see my chess.com screen?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So again, yeah. So what I decided to do, what I decided to do at one point is to look at my games and how I'm playing. I decided at an early time that I wanted to learn the London because everyone said, hey, as a beginner, it's a decent system. I decided I didn't like the London because I don't know, I liked this knight getting out for some reason. And then I came across the Jabava London, which is basically a London getting that knight out. And so I was really drawn to it. And so what I did,
GM, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can see that I played it a lot, right? So what I did is how are people playing against this opening? Because I was losing a lot of games. And what I would do is I would just go through this opening, what the most common thing is, and then I would get to a point where I was losing, and you could see here. I wish I could date this, but right here is where someone plays A8. You know, I seem to have a losing record against it, and then what I would do is I would just bring up an analysis board and just let you know, and then study this position. And then it's saying that now this seems to be, and I would let this run, by the way, for a long time. Now, before chess.com got the Stockfish new, I would use Lichess because I felt that was a stronger computer. And then at some point you would get all these variations, and then I could come back here. Whoops, I went too far. Oh, I apologize. There might be an easier way to do that. Lichess, I gravitated that it was easier to do this. And then I would learn what's the best move for this. And it would create a PGN. And then what I would do, I would put all the moves with the next move that the computer would say. And then I would come in here and I would create my own course.
Have you already shown how to do that, Greg?
I have not, Tony. I was given a little bit of background on it, and, and then I would create my own course with all of the variations that I was personally running into, and what I wanted to play against it. And so you can see I've got a bunch of variations here in the main level, as well as some might have seen that I was running against the England Gambit a lot. If I'm saying that correctly. Really? And so I was like, okay, how do I just beat these people who play this dumb gambit against me? And now people, I think I have like an 80% win rate or something like that against this opening now that I've studied this. That's and incredible. Then the King's Indian defense is something that a lot of you know, players that are a little better than me seem to try. And the Jabava London just crushes this this opening, for me at least, at my level.
Cool. So
I've heard the London is good against the King's Indian always.
So
interesting. Let's back up a bit. So can anybody go onto Chessable, get a free account, and create their own courses? Yeah.
My understanding is it 5? I thought it might be 2, but yes, you can have this
5. You can share with 2 other people. I mean, if you're not supposed to share, you know, copyrighted stuff, but you are able to share your 5 courses with 2 other people with a free account.
Okay.
I believe.
And is there a limit to how many lines you can have within that course?
I don't think so.
Not that I'm aware of, because Gotham's courses are massive, and that's part of the problem. And when you import them into this, you're going to see I've done about 75% of the E4 course, and that's about 800 moves.
Wow.
And so it gets big.
So you can see that you know, I've got a lot of courses that, so I played a lot on Chessable to get 750,000 points. You know, I've been using it a lot. I just basically my daily routine. One of the first things I do is go through these reviews. So you load this up, and at some point, you will be able to. I can see I've got 8, 5, and 9 variations. What'll happen is.
So those are chapters, yeah, Gary.
I'm sorry.
You've got 3 different chapters there, right, within the Jabbar course. So what does a chapter represent?
A chapter is just a set of lines. So like this would be my main line chapter. I have a chapter against this gambit that comes up a lot playing the Queen's Pawn opening. A lot of people, especially in faster games, you know, they learned that they can win really quickly against a Queen's Pawn opening. And I lost the first time I lost to that opening. I came in here and I built a course for myself to study it. And then of course the King's Indian comes up a lot. So I built a course for that, and you can just build as many chapters as you want. Or, I mean, I had these all in one chapter, and at some point I just decided to separate them for my own purpose. But to build a course, I believe the easiest way to do this, at least for me, was in Lichess. And I don't know why it was easier, but you can, at chess.com, as terrific as it is, I can't use the opening explorer to build out a PGN with an analysis tool that I've been able to see. Someone might be able to school me on that, but on Lichess, I can go through my games, and also again, this isn't an advertisement for Lichess, and just hopefully that's not a problem. But also Lichess, you can go through all opening moves on all players on Lichess, and you can sort it by elo, by rating. So I wanted to know all the plays that people are doing at my level, and that's how I built these courses for myself.
Okay.
Now, what you do, I don't know. I don't know if you care if I do this or not.
Well, hey, Gary, I just wanted to chime in. I think what you might be able to do with chess.com, and I'm not a big Lichess user, is the download button there after you've put your moves in. See the arrow down below? I think you could download that and get that PGN file, and then use that for Chessable.
You can. So I'm just going to go through all these moves real quick.
Yeah, just go through some.
Just for fun. Now, yeah. So these are all the moves that people tend to play against me. Now, if I want to go back to this right here,
play a different move.
Play it differently. It doesn't.
I see what you're saying. It's not changing the variation.
Build out a tree.
Yeah, it's not building the tree. Yeah, there is some way, but I can't think of it right now. But yeah, that download button would be the way, I think. I think it's going to be in the analysis board, actually, where you can do that, Gary. If you would bring up chess.com's analysis and do the same thing, then it will build trees. I'm pretty sure. But learn.
What it's not giving you is the history of your own play.
Correct.
Right. So there's that disconnect.
So Ben, is it a problem to bring up Lichess to just show an example?
Not at all. Yeah, I'm finding Lichess more and more useful over time, particularly the Explorer. When you say, okay, well, look, I'm targeting people in this kind of 200-point range. How do they play?
That's a feature chess.com should add, I think, the rating range.
Definitely.
Okay. So this is the thing that made Lichess, like, I was like, okay, I want this, because I can go to Master Games, and I can go to this is the database of, you can see the 68, almost 67 million games playing E4, And what I would do is I would come in here and I would just want rapid and slow games. And what are these players playing? So now I can say, and I can have an analysis at the same time. So what I would do is, okay, I'm a Queen's Pawn player. Lichess database showing that this is the most popular response. I'm a Jabava London. This is the #1 response. And you know, I've got Stockfish New doing this. And then so I don't play this move because I don't want it to get kicked away. So this is my normal response to this based on the Jabava system, London system.
But hang on.
And so
if you play your knight to b5 and black plays c6, you can still play knight c7 supported by your bishop.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and again, that's what makes me a 600 player. So
I think it's your 3D view, actually.
so very, very okay. So now I want to come back to move 2 or move 1. I'm going to play this. Now I can build this tree out. Now what happens here? I do this. They do this. I do. So now what I can do is, whoops, how do I do this again? Let me think. There's how do I download this? I can't remember how I do it now. Oh, it's down here. So now I can build out a massive tree, right? A massive PGN. Right. Doing this process over and over and over again, going through every move that I want to play against, and I can come in here, and then I can go to Chessable, and then I can create my own course. And I'm just going to do an example here. Import PGN is right here.
I have a question for you. Okay. You answered my question. Yeah, I usually just go to tools and create first and then import, but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Whoops, so now, whoops, I think I did that a little fast. So now it should show up here. I made it take a little, an extra step here. Mm-hmm. Now you want to make sure that this is checked. If you've got a really large tree, import all subs.
Yeah, some of the little details of this, I'm still learning, of course, too. The main thing I have to add is if someone has a professional PGN, what that looks like when you bring it to Chessable and how to use it effectively. But
yeah, I definitely have seen some PGNs don't work properly, and I think it's because they have annotation in there, like what's a blunder or mistake.
Yes, and I actually have noticed that in a couple of Gothams, and I know how to get around it if it's not too prevalent.
So, and then you just start, you can go through this and it will teach you the moves. So it just showed that now it's going to say, okay, so, and you can fill this up with notes and I'll show you that in just a second. That's why I didn't want to build this. And the idea of space, now it's going to make you do it 3 times in a row.
And now it's not showing you the move beforehand.
Now it's not showing. You have to remember the moves.
And Gary, you might have gotten to this probably, but I really like when you miss a move or you take a long time on a move, it will come back to that move and qualify it as a difficult move that it will make you play again.
So let's say this is a course on the Jabava report system, and I play it like a normal London. It's going to say that was an incorrect move, and it's going to show me the move again, as Tony just said, and then it's going to drill that mistake in just a second. It's really going to go after that mistake that I made.
And even if you take a long time to find it, it will still be like, that took him a long time to think about that. I'm going to drill him on that.
So let's say now it's going to just make me do this move over and over and over again. Okay, now I got it right. Now it's going to say, do this move. And so if it's a difficult move and I make a mistake again, let's just say I'm going to make a mistake again. Now it's going to make me just do it over and over and over again.
So this might seem kind of repetitive and slow to some people, but that's what drilling stuff is, you know. Like,
but it's interactive, you know. It's interactive is the thing, is the huge portion over just having a huge PGN file. Like, you know, I paid $40 for a Gotham course, and you get this massive 13 chapters file. And with just free chess base or any reader, how are you supposed to use that to get it in your noggin? And the move trainer is the only answer I've ever found.
I agree with that. And so now it's basically says in 3 hours and 58 minutes, it's going to make me try this again. And the more you get it right, the more time in between trying it again. And so now the real pain in the butt is if you already know your system really well, Ben, and you're going to load this in here, it's going to feel really monotonous to go through the idea of it's that slow learning the moves, but like this system right here, I've got 22 variations. I've learned all the variations, and it says I have 4 difficult moves. So I know that there's 4 moves in my opening that I like to play that I struggle getting right. And so it's going to drill these moves over and over and over again. And the problem, at least for me as an adult learner, is that that repetition has helped a bunch. Because now I don't have to go open a book. I don't have to watch a video. I already know the moves that I want to make. I just need that repetition of manually seeing the move and reacting to it. And I think that's where Chessable helps. So however you build out your PGN, Ben, you have all, however you want to do it. At some point, you're going to want to just import that PGN. You'll make your own course. The monotony of having to go and let the move trainer teach you the moves that you're already good at. But once that process is done, now I'm just drilling my Jabava London every single day. I'm drilling this perk every single day. And I can definitely say that because I built my own course based on what players are at my level are playing against me. Now, when I run into a move that I lost a game, I go into my opening, I go into my opening, and you can see that on Lichess, I'm a little bit better because I started using the Stockfish New to create my courses. Now chess.com has Stockfish News, so a lot of people, I'm kind of hesitant to go back now, but anyway, I can see what people are playing against me, and then you can see I still struggle with A5, you know, but only one person's played it against me. I can find a way when I get to a position that I lose a lot, I'll come in here and I'll say, okay, I'm just going to make something up really randomly here.
This is what I was wanting to know. So how do you evolve and build on a course that you've already created without importing a PGN?
So now I can go into here. Whoops, I did one thing wrong here. I apologize. I want to edit this.
Right.
And then I can get to the end of it and I can say, well, what happens? Where am I at here?
Really just go back a move.
Now I can add this and it's going to say, hey, you made a move. Since you made a move while editing a variation, this variation is now considered a new one and will be added to your repertoire. So, okay. Now I go over here usually, or you can use chess.com because they have a pretty strong engine now. I can also, I think they use Stockfish 11 here. Stockfish, or I could just use their engine if you don't.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, is there any reason you switch back and forth? Just you think the other engine is stronger?
Yeah, I think this is Stockfish 11 and Stockfish
Yeah.
14 plus new or whatever the is just seems like a stronger engine. Now,
Personally, for me, with engines, I don't get too caught up with how strong they are because
yeah,
they don't need to be that strong for my level.
yeah.
Yes,
So,
the Stockfish
so
news, I think,
it's suggesting that knight f3 is the move here. So now I can build out this course. Now let's say I want to add that. I can come down here, keep in test, keep in main level. Let's say I want to title it,
line or whatever.
what was that? That was A6. Again, I'm doing this really fast. Now I can just add that.
Yeah, Gary, you're doing a lot of custom stuff here, which is awesome, and I'm learning a lot even watching you do it. What I have to offer is much more simple, and I'd love to show that maybe if we get a chance. What I've at some point, but it's only going to be like 10 minutes maybe of what I have to show.
Is that a good time to switch over to Tony and
certainly
your method? Because I think this is going to be so helpful for everyone. This is awesome. And, I'm going to throw away my old notes, but I'm going to import them into this. And, one thing that I've thought in the defense of manual note taking, because pre-computers, there wasn't any of this option. People used to write their stuff down literally in a book, and they'd go around over the board and pull their beards and make moves and smoke lots of cigarettes and then make up their mind. There's nothing wrong with that because you're very much learning. And for me, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a repertoire to take me to 2000, right? So if I get deep down and dirty and roll up my sleeves and go elbow deep into the Vienna, system, it's all time well spent because I'm looking for openings that will carry me through, right? And I want to spend time and really understand those openings. However, the typing and the indenting and the coloring is a pain in the butt. One other thing I would like to see as well, Tony, I don't know if you can show this, is how to, I think that the annotation of your notes is really, really important. So, not just this is the move to play, but why is that the move to play? Well,
yes,
it controls the E5 square and prevents your opponent playing this.
You'll see some of that. Again, this isn't custom. This is Levy Rosman's notes, but you will see that. So I'm glad you mentioned the Vienna because again, this is the course that I've been working on, and I gave it that name. I gave it the thumbnail. But it is Levy's E4 New York style course.
So
his most popular one.
PGN.
Yes.
Okay.
So and I'll show you how I imported it in. It's very similar to what Gary just showed.
Now, obviously, in this course, Levy says, if you want to import this into Chessable or Lichess or anything else, please don't publish it. So we're not sharing. We're only sharing that maybe people can see small bits of Levy.
Yeah, small bits. Look at this. Look at how many, what's here.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. One course.
One of the problems
16
that I was running into is again, adult learning. I'm never going to remember all these lines.
Right. But I'll show you what I do. Oh, sorry. Finish, Gary. I'm sorry.
I agree with learning from a GM is a smart thing, but I'm never gonna get that many lines deep into a Vienna. So I'm excited to see what his system is here.
Well, basically, once after I got through the initial kind of learning how the move trainer worked, so like I was saying, nobody plays the Sicilian at my level, very, very rarely. So, well, I'll find the Sicilian chapters, Control F, E4, C5. Wait, no, not what's Sicilian? C6,
C5, C6,
C5,
Huracan,
C6, C6,
C5,
and C5. Sorry, but this shows you I did C6. That's a Caro, so that will take you to the chapters on the E4 versus the Sicilian, and that's chapter 12, and probably goes beyond. Now, what I can do if I want to get these out of my course completely is I can pause them. I don't want to see these because nobody plays these against me. You know, I don't want to see these, and I'll go through and I'll just pick out the lines that people play against me, you know, and that's the way I do it, and that's the way I get around. There's actually, let me show you this real quick because you mentioned that some of these big professional PGNs have problems, and they will have nothing to learn in a variation. And again, all you have to do is pause it. So I would hit learn next on most anything else, but in this situation, well, let me go back one. I actually have the line pause that has no moves to learn. Let me find it again. And there's only one in this one. I found a couple in some of these professional PGNs, but if I hit learn next now, you get this error, okay? And you can't proceed. And now you're seeing the notes over there on the side bin as well. So I go in, if I find that, if that happens, just pause that one and it'll take it out of the rotation. Okay. So and then I stick to chapters, you know, I stick to chapters. And now when I go to learn next, I'll be able to move. All right, now I'm moving. Yeah. And you've seen all this already. So that's my system, and I can just show you real quick how I imported this. So I mean, this is my system. I go to create a course, and then see gambits for white, opening, submit. So that creates the template, and then up here you get the import the PGN. Okay, and then I would just go to my PGN. And I'm sure most everybody knows how to download a PGN file. I would hope, but if you think that would be helpful, that would be something we could do. Oh.
Just drag that onto the screen.
Yep. Just drag it, and there it is. Select your course, like he was just showing. Gambits for white, import, and this can take a second sometimes for it to import with these big files. Especially for these big files, like it doesn't seem like it's doing anything, but it'll come up with there's the wheel, and this can take a minute or two sometimes. My internet's not great, but once this gets in there, we'll see where it goes. And then like I said, I have fun adding the thumbnails, you know, like just picking out. I like you saw, I have Horatio Caro there on the Caro course, and I just have fun with that part of it too. But this is just my simplistic way. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that have Levy's courses or have somebody else's courses that have PGNs, and they don't know what to do with them. Like I've been asking this question since day, 3 of playing chess, because I ran across these PGNs and I just thought that was the way. It wasn't the way, but this move trainer really is the way to do, as my friend Greg calls it, the woodpecker method. That's also in the club, just drilling. Yeah. And so there, I have my course. Boom, it's ready to go. And I'll go put
hey, Tony, Ben was curious about how do you? Yeah, there you go. You're showing it now. How do you edit and put in not just there's a move here to play, but why is the move good?
Right.
There's a way to edit that on every move.
Right. So as far as the editing of the notations, I'm sure there's a simple way. I haven't got into that too much yet. I've just been going with what, it's Levy's course. So I just, what I'll do after I've done the variation, I'll back up. Well, when I get done with the lesson, I'm sorry. I already forgot monitor. Okay. And so what I'll do after I get through screen. Where did the night go? Did you go back? Okay. All right. Let me just get through this lesson and I'll show you what I do when I get to the end of a chapter. See, now it's going to drill me. Okay, so I'll back it up. Okay, and now I've already read this part, so I'll get to that line. Okay, the Caricon is notoriously solid defense. Boom, boom, boom. This is a Buzar setup. I'll read through, and after I've done the lesson, and then same thing. Continue on. It'll do a new line, and I'll read through those notes again, and back up through the moves again.
So Ben, when you're ready, I did bring up on my screen when creating your own course, how to put notes about each move and what. And so if you're interested,
okay, you got that ready, Gary. Cool. Because again, like I said, this is my super simplistic way to do this. It's really just if you having in my situation, and I think there are a lot of people in my situation that have those courses and PGNs just languishing in their computer, and they've spent, in my case, I spent, $400 on these courses. I'm getting every move wrong because I'm talking.
Yeah.
But we can go back to your screen, Gary. That was really the most I had to add to it with these Gotham courses or any PGNs. Although there is one other thing I would like to point out, and you've kind of covered it, Gary. But a lot of the YouTubers do this. What they'll do, Gotham is the one I know that does it, but any of his educational videos, like say the 10-minute openings or like the Traxlers. I did the Traxler for instance, but let me just find one here. One of his openings. Okay, here we go. I don't want to play it, but he puts his PGN notes underneath. So if you just grab those and copy and paste them, or show more. Here we go. Okay, I guess he didn't in that one. I don't know. Let me get the Traxler because I know he does in that one. But in a lot of these, he does this, and it's real simple as you've shown already, Gary. You grab those.
Oh wow! No, there's no annotation on them. Yeah, notice.
And I'm going to create a new course.
And this is how quick it is, everyone. So
Traxler. I've already actually done this one once, and this is a very, this is a small this is a small PGN. So this is going to import quick, and it's going to have more to what Gary kind of showed with his custom courses there. So this is really cool for like learning these little tricky traps and stuff, I think. So again, this might have some things in it that might, let's see if it has any missing learn move notes. It doesn't, so I don't have to pause any lines. And bam.
And you can rename, so these are all called untitled versus untitled, which is as though it's the record of a game, but I guess you can rename any of these lines.
Yeah, right there you see that little edit button. I actually just noticed that. I'm pretty sure that's what we would do here.
Launched in a new Windows.
But no. But yeah, it looks, Gary, you can probably comment on more on editing these titles and things like that. So I'll throw it back to you, friend.
This is amazing because I mean, I'm sitting here at 1500 rapid going, I need this really badly, and you guys Tony, you're under 1,000 as well, right? Still.
Yes, 900's been my peak.
But you know, you're both saying this tool has helped you. I mean, can you say for sure that drilling your openings using Chessable has strengthened your game?
100%.
There's nothing more thrilling for me than seeing a move and being like, I know that move. And
exactly.
The only way that I've gotten that satisfaction is because I drilled it on Chessable. Now, I will say that I played a game yesterday, and it was just every move. I was like, I know this move. I know this move. Oh,
that's a great feeling.
Is perfect. Oh, I got into the middle game. I was like, this is the bishop exchange variation. Let's go. And then I got to the end game, and I blundered my rook and lost. But learning end games, I immediately was like, okay, I bought this 100 end games you must know last year. I'm going to start learning end games.
And you actually get a couple of free courses even with a free account. Just FYI.
There's hundreds of free courses.
Yeah. So they'll do. Yeah.
So a lot of times I've noticed. So when like Ginger GM brings out a course, they'll do a short and sweet version, which is free. Which is like your basic introduction, which is all that most of us need, to be honest, because most of us are 1,800, 2,000 trying to learn how to respond when we're playing a title player.
So you can see that I'll show you, let's see.
Gary, while you're looking for that, I just want to tell you what you've made me excited for and kind of just taught me. Even, you know, I probably won't go into doing what you're doing and creating the, you know, maybe at some point, but since I already have these professional PGNs, why wouldn't I just add on to that? You know, like we were talking about, it doesn't show you the bad moves, you know. Well, I could totally add those bad move lines in there and that be part of my drill.
And I found that I was just overwhelmed personally by that. So let me just get this. Some players are playing this move 80% of the time. I just let me play against that move, and to get all the other moves out of there, I just felt more comfortable saying I'm just going to drill this move until I know it. And then someone would play something, some novelty, and I wouldn't care about it. But as soon as a novelty became the second most popular move against what I'm playing, I added that to my repertoire and said, okay, now I'm going to drill this. And again, as an old man with no hair and gray in my beard, and as an adult learner, as I'm calling it, or someone else called it was easier for me than taking somebody else's professional line and being overwhelmed by stuff that I don't understand. So you can see these are all the courses I've spent some money on Chessable. Like, you know, this was a few $100s. I don't even know why. What the heck am I buying Grandmaster thinking for as a 600? Right? You know, and like Chessable Challenge, this was free and extremely useful. You know, like I'm buying all these courses and I don't even understand what's going on. And so you can see this one right here. I was learning the Black Lion. I bought the Black Lion course. Nobody plays the Black Lion moves against me as a 600 or 700. So I made my own Black Lion. You know? So what we did is we created this course as a test. I can come in here. We want to edit this A6 line. I can call it whatever I want here. I can create it. I can put it in a different chapter. But what's nice.
So I could do that with like the Traxler that I just made. I could go in and edit those titles and things like that, Gary.
Yeah. So now I can make a comment. What happens? What's my thoughts when Black plays this A6 move? So I can say, I can call it whatever I want. I don't know.
Plan.
He's
preventing
probably wanting to stop the knight from coming in.
Right.
So I can say,
Knight b4 or something.
b5. Yeah.
b5.
So now this right here, let me, this is, you know, I can make different colors and stuff like that, but I've found that making these moves kind of causes problems. It might be just be my browser, but now if I update this variation, now when I go through the moves, when ace6 is played, it'll put a note here.
Brilliant.
Now I can now if I edit this variation,
and if you were in the move trainer, it would show that note as well, right? Yes.
Yeah. So now if I get back to this, I can say oops, pardon my spelling.
I don't know. We know what you mean.
I had 1 cup of coffee this morning. So now I can put I'm just going to continue my developing, right? White just continues to develop. I'm using a lot of brevity right now because I know we're going along. And now when I get back to this, it'll list all the notes. Now when you're learning, when you're in learning the course, and you're seeing it actually happening. Let's see if I can get it to do that. So it's going to teach me this.
Gary, I have a question when you get done with this.
I'll multitask.
Okay. When you are looking at the list of chapters and lines over on the right where it says learning, difficult, mature, I have kind of yet to figure out how you get a line or a move to the mature status. Do you know what that is?
I don't.
Well, you've probably seen it. Yeah, scroll down right here. Scroll down and keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Right there. Okay, learning status. I've got tons in learning, but I can't get anything into mature, and I'm not sure why. I've looked into it. I think it's a time thing, or maybe how many times you've done that that chapter or that variation. But as you see, you don't have any in mature either. Maybe you do in your other courses. I don't know, but yeah, that's been my question.
I'm sure somebody's watching will have an idea about that. They can add
yes, I'm sure we'll get a comment answer. I hope.
So that's how I use Chessable. I bought the spent a lot of money on courses, and I just found that it was building my own was a way to I guess why try to learn lines from a GM when a 600 isn't playing against those moves? And that was
tailored to your level. It's tailored to you.
So that's how I use it, and hopefully, Ben, when you get your I guess PGN set up, however you're going to do that, if I'd love to be a part of helping you set that up, and
after seeing Ben's notes, honestly, I don't think that it would be that much work to get your notes ready to import. Honestly,
now,
I don't think it would be too bad.
Yes, but it is possible from what Gary's shown, that you could build a new course completely from a blank sheet within Chessable, but it seems as though that's the laborious way to go about it. So what I think I would do is I would probably pull up, for example, chess.com analysis board, work through all of my notes on there, and then rewind and work through a different line, and then rewind and go through a different line, and then hopefully be able to export all of that in one go straight into Chessable.
Now,
yes,
Ben,
you should be able to. I think
an idea. You could come here to analysis board, And I'm just going to burn through this super fast. Okay. So I'm sorry. I needed to do opening tool, but I believe there's a way to, save variation. I can I can add it right to a course from here.
And if what you've got here in this line is a branch off a tree that's already in the course, will it attach it to
Yes,
that?
I can say, hey, I want to put this in my Jababa. I want to put it in the main level. I want it to be, I don't want to replace a version. Again, I haven't gone through and named all of these. I'm not creating a course for other people, so I haven't really gotten into making it look like a professional course.
But you would know where to put it. You know,
I
normally
probably would just, I probably would save it after, you know, I'd make it the last line.
Yeah.
You know, and but you could also go through, and this is another way. If I go to, and I've used this before many times, like I want to see, this is the Jababa London that I bought for several $100s with video from Chessable.
Is that everything you've purchased,
Yes.
Gary? Okay.
Yeah. So now I can go through and see, this is how I originally was like, okay, what, if I go through, I was going through this, right? Going, okay, everyone's playing these moves against me. This is the way that I should be playing. And now I can say, this move gets played. Oh, it's part of the course. Okay. And now let's say this happens. If all of a sudden I've got like 5 or 6 people playing this move for no reason, and I've never seen it before, I can add this to my course. So, and now I can just be like, all right, what's the play against this? Again, I'm approaching this as someone who is not good at chess. I want to learn, and I'm relying on technology to help boost, my learning, and not take a lot of time writing it out and putting it on a chessboard and studying it. I just want to learn the moves, and then and then if I live long enough, maybe I'll get out a piece of paper. So now this is telling me that the move is bishop takes f5.
Yep.
Now I can add this. I can annotate what was I thinking? What's the process? What's the reasoning behind all this move? I can say that, hey, what's going on? What do I think's going on here? And now I want to add it to mine. I can pick a level. That doesn't matter as much. And then I can add this variation to my course right out, knowing that it's not in the Jababa London that I bought. And another way is the same idea. Is it in my Jababa that I built myself? Because if a move's been played 3 or 4 times against me in some scenario and I'm losing against it, well, I'm going to go put it in here. I'm going to see if I've already have it, and then I'm going to add it to my course. So there's another way to do what you want to do, Ben, right in Chessable, and then just create your course right from there.
So does this mean that Chessable, you've linked Chessable to your chess.com account?
No.
So it can't see your history of what has actually been played. Okay.
No.
Right.
But I do. Again, everyone's going to flame me for the 3D, but that's okay. But what I do is go through my opening explorer.
Yeah.
And I will find out what people are playing against me in this opening. And so I probably have everything. So let's see here. So we've got what you guys probably remember the moves better than me. D5, knight c3,
knight, bishop, and 2 knights. Then he brings out one of his knights.
Did he go
either knight? Yeah.
C3, C. Okay.
C6.
So you can. So whoops.
So basically, you're saying like for Ben to make his notes into a course, he wouldn't even really need to switch away from Chessable, honestly. Is that what you're kind of getting at, Gary?
Yeah, exactly. So Ben, you know your moves really well from memory. I mean, you might just be able to start building out immediately from this you can either do it from analysis board or opening explorer. I use the opening explorer to see if I've already got this variation in there, and you can see that I do. I go for this attack here. So I trained myself, to look for somebody, making this mistake and opening up, that seed.
Gary, you eat liver?
If they're going to give it to me like that. So if I play this out, this is what I'm going to do if that happens. Now, sometimes they.
I haven't seen that variation of the fried liver. That's nice.
This happens to be.
It's a mirror. It's a mirror image one, isn't it?
Yeah.
It happens to be a lot. And then they think, oh, they're giving up their queen, and then this knight comes in and forks everything, and then they go, oh, crap.
White can then castle long and put the rook straight on d1. Maybe
that's exactly what happens. I don't know if so. I've only got it played out to there because usually I'm up upon. Whoops. I'm up
resignation
upon,
after that,
and then you're going to castle long, attack something else. I mean. So this happens to me a lot. So I've built this variation in the way that I play, and at my level, people fall for this all the time. So if you look at my Chessable openings, you're going to see that when this happens in a Chessable opening or in Chess, before I would just play E3, but I was losing. So when I started working through what people are playing against me, I realized that the best move is that, and in 12 games, I'm now 58% winning instead of playing my normal move. And I only learned that from the opening explorer. And then I bring that over here, and then I just drill it. And that's, so you can tell just by drilling what happens when beginner players, you can see 29 times they're making this mistake. I was actually losing when they did it until I learned how to do that instead. And I did that through the analysis board, and then I loaded that up into Chessable, drill, and now I've got a nice winning record against that.
Fantastic stuff. Well, guys, I think that's given everyone a. Well, I mean, I know I'm inspired to give this a try out now. But yeah, I hope everyone is watching, if they haven't used Chessable before, give it a go. Because, for me, I'm saying this will 100% help my play. You guys have said the same thing, at 600, 900, it just looks fantastic. But, thanks for, giving your time to help me understand it, because I'm a bit slow, because now I do feel like I've got a bit more of a grip, and I'm ready to go dive in and start building my own stuff. Really good.
Thanks for being open to this, Ben. It's been really great to find this. And I just say about openings, I don't think it's so much about playing the objectively best move, but getting into the lines you have fun playing.
Exactly, yeah. And also remember that the engine will always give you the line that it thinks it would play against you if you're playing against another engine, which you generally tend not to do. If you're playing against human beings, you know, we are playing against human psychology, not silicon. That's important to remember. So, you know, really, really good advice there to base your own repertoire, your own book on what's really, really played against you in the real world, rather than, you know, stockfish land. But that's really awesome. And, you know, if anyone maybe uses Lichess, you know, if Lichess has got any kind of similar tools that can help you to drill this stuff, I don't know if it does, but, or any other platforms, then, you know, this might be something we do again.
Well, Lichess has studied. I did put that Jabava London, my Jabava London, the way that I'm playing it, into Lichess.
Published it.
Let me, again, not to belabor this, you can, but I did put this whole system into studies, and I found it not to be as good.
Okay.
And so I've got this entire system in there, and you can see this is my, you know, my record against all these moves. And you can also go, you know, what are other players playing at different levels? You know, I could just say, hey, what's a 2,500 play here? But anyway, but this is a study that you can invite other people to. And what I found was that it isn't a move trainer exactly the way Chessable is.
Right.
And you can create it. People have created better ones. I'm just not as good at it yet. But this is I Am Rosen. You can see that, you know, it teaches you how to play these openings. I've just found that Chessable at my level is easier to understand.
But this isn't interactive, is it, Gary? I mean, like, it doesn't play moves against you, does it?
Some people are really good. Like this guy, you know, he does.
This isn't the move trainer, is it?
Well, that's the key thing, isn't it? It's the ability to go in and have it drill you like a coach drills you with the comments and just making you repeat until you get it down.
There is somebody who has a pick a move. I just haven't. Somewhere in here there is a pick a move system, but it isn't like a move trainer that Chessable is that I've found. So someone might have a comment that says, "Yeah, you can totally do that."
But Chessable looks fantastic, and it's free to join. So, you know, what's not to like? But guys, thank you so much. I think that's plenty of information for everybody to get you all going and get you all fired up. But thanks again for your time.
Thank you, Ben.
For everyone who's watching, hope you're as inspired as I am, certainly, and give it a whirl.
Right on, guys.